もう二人の生活は始まってるからね。僕も最後まで責任を持つよ。
Your residence.
ステラ市中央気象台の発表によると、本日午前6時、台風ジュノは想定していた進路から外れたそうです。台風によるお出かけへの影響を心配されていた皆さん、もう安心です。台風一過の穏やかな日々をお楽しみください。ただし専門家によると、ジュノは気分屋さんらしく、今後の進路については不確定な要素があり、
The radio is broadcasting news that Typhoon Juno has bypassed Dallas, but the joy of having the almost complete doublet in your hand is unrivaled. I'm finally almost done. A good thing I'll be able to finish it before we move in tomorrow. Half a year ago, you and Vyn picked a house to live in together after careful consideration. However, you took on an urgent case not long after the handover and you ended up being busy all day every day. Even though you and Vyn discussed the renovation plans together, he's been the one handling the specifics. You've been thinking about doing something to repay him and finally got inspired to make a door plate a week ago.
気をつけて。2階に上がるよ。
You close your eyes, taking the steps one at a time as Vyn holds your hand. The warm sun shines upon your bare skin, and a refreshing scent lingers in the air after the rain.
もういいよ。目を開けてごらん。
New home's bedroom. You open your eyes to see a sizable, bright, and elegant bedroom filled with mementos from your and Vyn's past. The heart-shaped handle left behind from when you made a cup together, the glass rose he gave you under the volcano, and the crystal wooden horse you gave him on his birthday. These small items all come together to represent parts of your journey bit by bit. Did you move all of these things in here?
もちろん、どれも僕たちを見守ってきたものだからね。一緒に運ぼうとも思ったんだけど、あなたはそれどころじゃなさそうだったから。気に入ってくれたかい？
I love it! The corners of Vyn's lips raise slightly. He takes your hand, leading you into the space that belongs solely to you two.
でも、今日の主役はこれらじゃなくて。
As you curiously watch on, Vyn leads you over to the vanity.
高さの調節をお願いしてもいいかな？
You sit on the cushioned stool and slide open the drawer as if you're about to put on your makeup. Sure enough, it is already filled with all your usual cosmetics. When did you do this?
業者に化粧台を運んでもらった時だよ。
Vyn stands behind you as he speaks, gently placing his hands on your shoulders. The mirror reflects both of you, putting the warmth of the exchange on full display.
少し低そうだね。
It's okay, I can still work with it.
座ってて。僕が調整するから。
Huh? Vyn crouches down, skillfully turns a few screws on the vanity cabinet and carefully adjusts the height.
これでどうかな？
He looks at you, signaling for you to try again. Let me see. Yeah, it's perfect now.
そう。よかった。
The golden sunlight shines on Vyn's back as he stands in front of you, making this moment feel absolutely serene. When did you learn how to do that? You point to the vanity and recall that one time when Vin came to your apartment to fix a water pipe before you started dating. In the end, he got soaked by the broken pipe since he didn't know how to repair it, and that's why you weren't expecting him to be able to adjust the height of the vanity cabinet like he just did.
そうだね。両者と細かい打ち合わせをしている時に自然と見て覚えたんだと思うよ。
Why didn't you tell me about it before? You even said that you'd let the professionals handle all the finishers.
もちろん任せたよ。でも2人の生活に基づいて微調整するところもあるから僕もその場にいたんだ。この家は僕たちが一緒に暮らす家だからね。隅々までこだわるのは当然だよ。
He purposefully emphasized the word home, making you feel guilty for some reason. I feel really incompetent when you put it like that. This is clearly our home, but I made you handle all of the renovations alone.
それは違うよ。あなただってこの家のために多くのことをしてくれているでしょ。それに僕はこの家が少しずつ完成していく姿を見ていたいんだ。
You look up at Vin in surprise and he reveals a sly smile.
でもどうしてもお詫びがしたいと言うならあなたからのプレゼントが欲しいかな。
What kind of present?
それは自分で考えてみて。僕たちの家に関係があれば何でもいいから。
So, it's an open question with no right or wrong answer. I suspected from Professor Richter.
それじゃあ期限は引っ越しの日にしようか。僕はそのお返しにステラ市の伝統的な引っ越しの儀式を用意しておくよ。
Well, it's a deal then. Your vibrating phone pulls you out of your thoughts. You look down to see that Vin is calling you. Is your lecture over?
うん。今日は新居にバラを植え替える日だからね。今から迎えに行くから待ってて。
Vin's holding a psychology lecture at Salus University today. Seeing as it was scheduled more than half a year ago, there was no way for him to get out of it. However, the administrator knew that Vin would be moving house tomorrow and needed to transplant his roses, so they deliberately arranged for the lecture to be held in the morning. So Vin woke up early today, which is rare for him. However, he was a little out of it as a result and even burned his tongue on his tea this morning. There's no need to trouble yourself, I can just head over. You unwittingly glance at the dough plate in your hand, which you have yet to color. It's not time to reveal the surprise yet. Vin pauses. Just as you think that he has noticed something, you hear his gentle voice sound in your ear once more.
なら先に準備を進めておこうかな。
Okay, see you soon.
あまり遅くならないでね。
There seems to be a hidden meaning behind his words, causing you to feel slightly guilty for some reason. Oh, okay. You breathe a sigh of relief after hanging up. Just as you are about to pick up a brush and continue coloring, your hand involuntarily freezes. Instead of doing it yourself, the final step might be more memorable if you and Vyn do it together. After you make up your mind, you put the coloring supplies and the half-finished dough plate into your bag, grab your keys, and head out. Garden of Vyn's residence. Vyn's silhouette is hidden amidst the shadows of swaying roses. As you get closer, you realize he is leaning against the cushion, asleep. Rose petals float down on the breeze, randomly landing on him. The air is filled with a floral fragrance. You reach out and gently pluck away the petals that fell on him. He wrinkles his nose slightly if he's dissatisfied. Looks like you really did wake up too early. You murmur under your breath, unaware of the approaching footsteps. You turn around to see Oji standing behind you holding a blanket. Oji. As soon as the sound escapes your lips, you remember that Vyn is sleeping, so you quickly cover your mouth. You walk way too quiet, Mr. Weshler.
驚かせてしまってすみません。先ほどまでは起きていたのですが、あなたを待っている間に寝てしまったようです。
Oji hands the blanket to you as he ceases. You take it gently and lay it over Vyn. Sensitive as always, Vyn simply furrows his brow ever so slightly, but doesn't wake up. It's rare to see him sleeping so soundly. He must be so tired recently.
坊ちゃんは新しい家のことが気になるあまり、あちこちで無理をされていたのだと思います。
Now that Oji mentions it, even though Vyn always looks calm and collected whenever you see him, he did seem inexplicably anxious when there was a possibility that the typhoon might impact your moving plans. Your residence.
台風は例年もう少し遅い時期じゃなかったかな。
Yeah, it might be because of the unusual weather we've been getting this year. But typhoons usually bypass Sally's at the last minute. Maybe it will be the same this time. You try to reassure Vyn with your past experience. Even though he's lived in Sally's for several years now, he probably hasn't seen an actual typhoon landing.
そう願うよ。引っ越しに影響しないといいね。
Vyn sighs in resignation. He furrows his brow, clearly somewhat worried. Thankfully, the typhoon has already passed, and nothing is likely to dampen Vyn's mood now. He even planned a moving ceremony. You glance at your bag, unable to stop the mounting excitement.
弁護士さん、少しよろしいでしょうか。
Oji's words bring you back to reality. Yeah.
先に客間の方へお願いします。
You nod and glance over at Vyn. He is still sleeping soundly, so you quietly leave the garden. Vyn's residence. As you walk into the living room, Oji takes out a gift box filled with various objects. You pick up one of them, realizing that the description printed on the item is in Swartian. These are...
こちらは先日、スウォルトから届いた、公爵殿下からお二人への引っ越し祝いです。殿下はずっと、坊ちゃんに温かい家庭を与えてあげられなかったことを悔やんでおりました。なので、お二人がステラ氏の伝統的な儀式を行うと知って、新たな家が心安らぐ場所になることを願い、ご自身でこれらを送られたそうです。
Oji pulls a translated gift list out of the box and hands it to you. A long list of items is documented on it: seats, a tea set, ornaments, and several containers of noodles. Noodles? Upon hearing your question, Oji takes a barrel-shaped object that is larger than typical instant noodles out of the gift box.
スウォルトで売られているインスタント麺です。ステラ市では引っ越しの伝統として蕎麦を食べる習慣があるらしいのですが、スウォルトには該当する料理がなかったため、これをお選びになったのでしょう。
You can't help but laugh as you imagine the Duke searching all over for noodles.
もちろん、ふさわしくないようでしたら、これは外しますが。
I think they're perfect. I'm just a little curious though. Why didn't you give this stuff to Vyn?
これは、殿下からお二人への贈り物ですからね。それに、先に坊ちゃんの方に知らせたところ、 あなたの判断に従うようにと。
Judging by Ojia's description, you have a pretty good idea of how Vyn must have reacted when he saw the gift. But since he said that he must have inwardly accepted it, then we'd be happy to accept it.
わかりました。では、ひとまず坊ちゃんの車に積んでおきますね。
Just as Ojia leaves, Vyn walks in holding the thin blanket. The clear sky stretches out behind him, long clouds ascending far into the distance like a massive handpan.
どうして起こしてくれなかったんだい？
I couldn't bear to wake you after seeing you sleeping so soundly. You smile as you tell him the truth. Vyn shakes his head resignedly and glances at the clock on the wall.
そろそろ時間だね。バラを植え替えに行こうか。
Yeah. Floral greenhouse. You and Vyn transplant the roses into the temporary floral greenhouse at your new home, although its roof still hasn't been built yet. The red blossoms dance gently in the breeze, seemingly content with their new residence. An earthy scent mixes with their floral fragrance and wafts through the air.
これで冬でも満開のバラを見ることができるね。
You nod, but you're slightly worried the greenhouse might not be able to protect them without a proper roof. The greenhouse is still roofless. Are the roses going to be okay?
そうだね。少し面倒だけど対処法ならあるよ。
Vyn touches the leaves of the roses before him somewhat absentmindedly.
ただ、今日は植え替えたばかりだから。
Huh? In response to your curious gaze, Vyn smiles and leans in toward your ear.
しっかり様子を見られるように、今夜は泊まっていこうか。
But I won't be officially moving in tomorrow.
ステラ市の伝統では前日から入居するのが基本だって聞いたよ。
Really? Vyn nods and continues seriously explaining.
それに明日はやることも多いから、往復しているうちに引っ越しの期筋を逃してしまうかもしれないからね。
The luckiest time to move?
うん。ステラ市民族史によると、引っ越しは一般的に朝の7時から8時の間だと言われてるんだ。
That early? Sounds like we really do have to stay here tonight.
うん。
If we follow the custom, we need to get everything for the moving ceremony ready early tomorrow morning. It will definitely be easier. To just spend the night here. It would be especially difficult for Vyn to get up that early. Alright then, let's stay here tonight. I didn't bring any toiletries with me though. Should we head back and grab some?
それなら一通り用意しておいたよ。
And when did you find the time to do that?
具体的な時間は忘れたけど、荷物を積み始めた時か、その後か。いずれにしても気づいた時には揃ってたよ。一応確認してみて。足りなければ取りに戻ろうか。
Okay. Living room. You and Vyn head to a nearby restaurant for dinner after deciding to spend the night at the new house. It is still light out as you two slowly walk home together, but most of the heat has dissipated. As soon as you and Vyn enter the living room, you spot Vyn's mother, Rena Richter, directing someone to move a piano.
母さん。 どうやって中に？それに彼は？
管理会社に開けてもらったに決まってるでしょ。あれを設置するためだって言ったら、業者の同行も許可してくれたわ。
Rena walks up to you, her lips raised in a faint smile wrought similar to Vyn's. Auntie?
そんなにかしこまらないで。私はただ引っ越し祝いを届けに来ただけだから。
You follow Rena's gaze and get a clear view of the piano. For some reason, it seems somewhat familiar. We have a piano?
フラワー庭園で僕が弾いていたピアノだよ。
Vyn says this with a smile.
誰かさんにこれじゃなきゃダメだって言われて、わざわざ届けに来たのよ。
Rena nonchalantly agrees as she turns to look at her son.
ところで、この配置で客間にピアノを設置したってことは、これも儀式の一環なのかしら。まったく。私が間に合ってなかったらどうするつもりだったの？
Faced with his mother's question, Vyn walks over to you and stands by your side.
母さんなら必ず約束を守ってくれると分かっていたからね。
あら、少しは口がうまくなったのね。
You listen on as both mother and son speak in riddles. On one hand, you think you seem to get the gist of it, but on the other hand, you're completely lost. But considering Rena's presence, it wouldn't be good to simply ask Vyn outright.
それじゃ、届けるものも届けたし、私は帰るわね。
Will you not stay for a cup of tea? Rena looks around the room before her gaze finally stops on you.
ええ、引っ越しが終わったらまたいただきに来るわ。
She takes out a jade bracelet as she speaks, carefully slipping each onto your wrist. This is...
心ばかりの贈り物よ。私のと対になってるから、私からあなたへのプレゼントだと思って。
Thank you, Auntie. Rena's expression falters slightly before she immediately regains her composure. She nods and leaves with her driver in tow. The first guest at your new home leaves as quickly as she came. If it wasn't for the piano in the center of the room and the jade bracelet on your wrist, you might have thought it was all a dream. Ah, the piano. You remember the riddles Vyn exchanged with his mother. What did your mother mean when she said you had something important planned for the piano? As if he knew you would ask, Vyn smiles, takes your hand and leads you over to the piano.
この間、ステラ氏の伝統的な引っ越しの儀式をするって言ったよね。
Of course I do.
ステラ氏民族史によると、昔の人々は引っ越しをするときに音楽を奏で、陸号に矢移りを宣言していたらしいよ。
Yeah, that was customary in ancient times, but wealthy families would usually have professional musicians play at their new homes.
うん。でも僕は自分たちの手で伝えた方が誠意的だと思うんだ。
Vyn opens the piano cover and arbitrarily presses a few keys as he speaks. A gentle and silky melody pours out from the age-old keys. You can't resist having some fun. Vyn, can you teach me how to play the piano?
ピアノ？
Yeah, we finished everything we had to do, right? It could be relaxing. Upon seeing you search for an excuse, the smile on Vyn's face gradually deepens. He gently embraces you and whispers in your ear.
うん。いいよ。授業料は安くないけどね。
His cool lips brush past your ear, leaving his warm breath in their wake. This, you agreed. That's fine. With that, Vin picks up some music sheets, sits in front of the piano, and looks up at you with his palm outstretched. You glance at the piano bench. Even though it's long enough for two people to sit side by side, Vin is right in the middle. Where does he want me to sit? Perhaps dissatisfied with your hesitation, Vin takes the initiative and pulls you into his arms. You can't help but gasp. But Vin holds you firmly in his grasp, settling you on his lap. Vin, what are you doing?
こうした方が上達が早くなると聞いたことがあってね。
Vin gently places his slightly cold palm on the back of your hand. Like this?
うん。これなら息を合わせやすいし、間違えてもすぐに教えてあげられるでしょ。
His slender fingers guide your hands back and forth over the keys. The speckled golden sunlight captures your combined movements. Compared to learning by stumbling through the score by yourself, perhaps it's faster if Vin personally guides you through it.
どうする？
Mean that you are wavering, Vin seizes this chance. Okay. The black and white piano keys gleam with a dreamlike radiance under the sunlight. A handwritten score sits on the music rack. It looks like Vin's handwriting, but you can't help feeling curious about the story behind this score. This song. Your curiosity is subdued by Vin's movements. His hands cover yours as he leans forward slightly, and his warm breath lingers by your ear.
難しい曲じゃないよ。一度音に慣れてしまえば、そうかからずに覚えられるんじゃないかな。
Vin is so serious. I need to pay more attention. Okay.
抑えるポイントも多くないから。まずは最初の1小節だけ意識してみて。
You nod and focus on the score in front of you. After some time, you have the first section mostly memorized. I remembered it. You let Vin know quietly.
それじゃあ、始めようか。
Vin guides your hands, explaining things to you as you play, and the notes flow out of your fingertips in a steady stream. Even so, you are drawn in by Vin's movement and his hot breath in your ear, making it difficult to fully concentrate. You instinctively follow his lead and press down on the keys. There's no way I can learn it properly like this.
いいね。これで最初の小節は終わりだよ。
Already?
うん。ここからは全体の演奏に入るからね。テンポが速くて休みもないから、ついていけなくなったらすぐに教えて。
Okay. As soon as you finish speaking, your fingertips suddenly speed up. You can barely keep up with the wind. The once scattered notes are connected like pearls strung on a thread, transforming them into a complete melody. Suddenly, you hear a dissonant note in the second half of the first section, but Vin continues on as if nothing even happened. Did Vin play the wrong note? You turn to the side surprised, but Vin remains focused on playing the piano. It's almost as if your ear had been mistaken. Just as you are second-guessing yourself, you feel something warm on your cheek, and you jolt, subconsciously pressing your fingers down harder than you're supposed to do. The piano emits a sharp noise, and you turn toward the culprit. You are met with Vin's triumphant gaze. Vin, you...
演奏中は集中しないと。
The guilty party files a suit. Vin's behavior indirectly proves his mistake from before wasn't your imagination. You played a wrong note earlier, so didn't you get distracted too?
ごまかしたつもりだったんだけどね。
Vyn leans forward slightly, with his chest pressed up against your back. Your body heat transfers through the fabric of your clothes. His voice is extremely close. Paired with his breath, you feel an inexplicable heat.
自制心はある方だと思ってたけど、こんな雰囲気じゃさすがに無理があったかな。
Vyn's word caused your heartbeat to speed up for some reason, so both of you had felt the same all along. Then what should we do? Will I still be able to learn the song tonight?
もちろん。けど、方法は少し変えた方がいいね。
Vyn lets go of you, shifting to a more normal position for teaching piano. This time, you pick it up quickly without the disruption caused by his proximity to you. Soon, you are able to play the piece smoothly. Due to this, an incomprehensible sense of familiarity sneaks its way into your head along with the melody. However, you don't recall ever hearing this song before. Weird, I've never heard this song before, but it sounds so familiar for some reason. You blurt out your thoughts, and Vin smiles as he plays with your fingers.
そうかい？
Yeah, it's as if it's telling the story of when we first met. At this critical moment, language is like a key opening a lock, allowing you to naturally connect everything. The transcript score, the familiar handwriting, and the effortless underlying resonance of the melody all point to one answer. I know. You take the score off the music rack and hand it to Vin. Did you write this song based on our story? Your conclusion seems to make Vin incredibly happy, and he nods softly as the corners of his lips tilt upward.
答えは明日にしようと思ったけど、その前にバレちゃったね。
If you really wanted to hide it, you wouldn't have thought it to me tonight. You clearly wanted me to figure it out. Upon realizing that you saw through his little charade, Vin clears his throat a few times to cover it up.
僕の方だけバレちゃうとはね。こうなったら、あなたの方のヒントも与えてくれないと不公平じゃないかな。
So this was all a ploy to figure out what kind of gift I got him. No way, we agreed on tomorrow, so you need to wait until then.
例外はないの？
Then I'll give you one hint. The gift perfectly matches the theme you gave me.
ありがとう。十分だよ。
Before you know it, the clock strikes 11. The view outside the window has also darkened without you noticing. You suddenly remember how Vin woke up really early today and only had a short nap in the afternoon. We need to get up early tomorrow. Let's get to bed.
うん。そうだね。
Bedroom. You are awoken by the sound of a gust of wind battering the window, and you open your eyes in a sleepy daze. Half asleep, you can barely tell that the night light in the bedroom is on, but Vin is nowhere to be found. Vin? You hastily get out of bed and throw open the curtains. The wind outside is strong, and although it's 7 in the morning, the sky is still pitch black. You grab your phone to call Vin. Over a dozen typhoon warnings pop up on your lock screen. The typhoon that originally bypassed Dallas has unexpectedly turned back, causing traffic to come to a standstill. You pay this no mind, quickly dialing Vin's number, but you hear his cell phone vibrating on the nightstand next to the bed. Where did he go in such awful weather? The image of you two transplanting the roses yesterday flashes through your mind. Seeing as you two hadn't put a rain canopy on the temporary greenhouse, the roses must have been disturbed by the powerful typhoon. Vyn really cares about them. The balcony door rattles again as a strong gust of wind hits it, interrupting your train of thought. You have no time to lose, so you throw on your clothes and head for the temporary greenhouse in search for Vyn. Living room. The sound of the wind crashing into the doors and windows is thunderous, while the shadows of the trees outside look like sharp, fiendish claws. The moment you open the door, ready to face the powerful wind, you bump into a familiar figure. Holding a rose, Vyn stands confounded on the porch. His eyes glint with astonishment when he sees you. You instinctively reach out and hold his hand tightly, bringing him inside. With that, the raging wind is trapped outside. Illuminated by the dim light, Vyn pulls the roses that had been trashed around in the typhoon. He looks at you, his golden eyes hazy for a moment, causing you to feel an unspeakable sense of pity. Vyn,
安心して。バラは無事だよ。このまま枝で固定してあげれば大丈夫だから。
why is he so concerned with the roses at a time like this? You're clearly more worried about him. This obscure anger indiscriminately spills over, mixing with the worry and unease you felt when you first awoke before ultimately rushing out like water from a burst dam. What about you? Why do you only care about the roses? Do you know how anxious I was when I woke up and didn't see you?
僕は
Vyn opens his mouth slightly as if he wants to say something. However, he simply hesitates before letting out a sigh. He puts down the roses in his hands and gently hugs you. The rhythmic beating of his heart gradually calms your emotions.
ただのバラのためにここまでのことはしないよ。
After some time, Vyn's soft voice sounds in your ear.
実際バラなんて世界中に溢れてるからね。でもこれはあなたと出会った日に植えた特別なものだから。
It seems as if he is both mumbling to himself and lovingly confessing his feelings. His warm, moist breath spreads over you, silently seeping into both of your hearts. The roaring gale outside the window disappears as the wind eases, and you and Vyn are suddenly surrounded by silence.
どうしてあのピアノを運んでもらったのかわかるかい？
You're unsure why Vyn suddenly changed the topic, but you responded regardless. Because it witnessed our love. He lets go of you, gently tucking the unkempt hair by your temple behind your ear.
このバラもあのピアノもこの世界に二つとない大切なものなんだ。だから僕は助けに行った。それだけだよ。
Absolutely everything takes on a new meaning simply because of you. This is what Vyn is trying to tell you. Suddenly, all of your unease and panic vanishes without a trace. Don't ever do something that dangerous alone again.
うん。
If something like this happens in the future, you need to tell me. We can figure it out together.
わかったよ。
With this earnest promise, a faint smile reveals itself on Vyn's lips as if he suddenly thought of something.
ちょうど新たな問題が生まれたみたいだ。
What is it?
意地の悪い台風に引っ越しを邪魔されそうなんだけど、どうしたらいいかな。
It's okay. These words of comfort get lodged in your truth. You know how much effort Vin has put into moving. It isn't something you can easily shrug off by saying, it's okay, let's just make up for it next time. You think about it for a while and an idea strikes you. You spent so much precious time planning this. Why don't you tell me the original plan? Then we can think of a way to make it right. Together, Vin is unable to hide his smile upon hearing your response. It's like ripples on a calm lake radiating out in circles.
いいよ。そうしようか。
Living room. In an effort to not let the typhoon ruin your moving ceremony, you ask Vin to share the specifics of his plan so you two can think of alternatives.
僕が準備していた儀式は、ステラ氏民族史に記されていたものを3つのステップに簡略化したものだよ。
What 3 steps?
うん。最初のステップは、朝の7時から8時までの間に、一番大切なものを持って家に入ることだけど。
You inadvertently glance at your watch. It's 1 minute past 8. You just missed the luckiest time to move.
残念ながら今回は、初手から天気に見放されてしまったようだね。
Vin smiles as he sighs, but rather than being disappointed, he seems somewhat unexpectant. Actually, we just finished the first step.
え
Vin watches on with a surprised expression as you take his hand and interlace your fingers with his. It was after 7 when I woke up, and now it's just after 8. That means I pulled you into the house during the auspicious period.
確かにそうだね。でも、僕たちはバラ以外持っていなかったよ。
You slightly raise your intertwined hands. Aren't we the most precious thing to one another? A hint of astonishment flashes across Vin's face, but it disappears just as quickly. His expression returns to its usual calmness once again.
その通りだね。なら、最初のステップは完了ということで、次は、一緒に食事をしようか。
Share a meal? Does that mean we need to eat together in our new house?
うん。一応そのために前もって食前亭の料理を注文しておいたんだけど。
He looks outside the window. The breeze and typhoon appears particularly fierce against the dark sky.
この天気じゃ難しいだろうね。
Vin looks at you calmly. It's as if he has already forgotten his previous frustration and is now waiting to hear your idea. Not a hard problem to solve. We can just eat noodles if you aren't particular about whether or not the food has to be gourmet.
ラーメン
According to Sally's custom, you can also eat noodles on moving day. It signifies that every day in the future will go smoothly and peacefully.
そうなんだ。
Vin looks down, seemingly deep in thought. What's wrong? Do you think noodles are too simple?
いや、入念に用意してきた僕の計画よりも、あなたが提案したアドリブの方が面白そうだなと思ってね。
I'm just glad you like it. And you already told me the last step yesterday, playing music. The typhoon won't have any impact on that. Vin nods, walks over to the piano and taps on the cover a few times.
その通りだけど、演奏は最後だから、今はまだ決めなくてもいいかな。
Then you can go get changed first. I'll go make the noodles.
着替え
He lowers his head to look down at himself, only to find that the clothes he had hastily thrown on this morning are all rumpled. It's rare to see Vin this unkempt, and a trace of embarrassment flickers through his eyes.
待ってて。すぐに戻るから。
While Vin changes his clothes, you find the instant noodles his father sent over from Sprat and pour in some hot water. As you wait for the noodles to soften, you solemnly pull the door plate you made out of your bag and place it next to the noodles. You were planning on giving it to Vin after the moving ceremony, but this seems like a good time for it. Just then, Vin comes down the stairs. Both his clothes and hair have regained their usual appearance. You're just in time. The noodles are ready. You greet Vin as you stand in front of the table. The light in the kitchen is broken due to the typhoon, so you have to make do in the living room for now. Vin sits down at the coffee table. By now, the noodles are fully mixed with the seasoning, giving off a mouth-watering scent.
やっぱり持ってきてたんだね。
Yep, it was a kind gesture from your father, after all. Vin doesn't comment on it. He reaches out to wipe off your fork and fingers accidentally bump against the gift box.
これは
It's the gift we talked about before. Open it up. Vin slides the fingers nimbly untie the knot, and he is left stunned for a moment when he lays eyes on the door plate you carefully wrap. He holds the door plate firmly in his palm as the wind that had died down begins to kick up again. You hear the rhythmic sound of the howling gale crashing into the house. Vin's head remains down. Just when you start to think he doesn't like it, he breathes a light sigh.
自分で作ったのかい
You nod, leaning closer to him and pointing at the inscription on the door plate as you speak. The door plate isn't very big, so I engraved our last names and put a rose and a poppy in the background.
ステラ市では昔プレートの代わりに名字が書かれた提灯やのれんを使ってたそうだね。
Yeah, even though there are many people who do it now, I still want to use it to indicate that this is our home.
素敵だね。すごく気に入ったよ。
I'm glad to hear that. Alright. You pull out the pins you brought with you. So the words on the door plate still need to be colored in. I wanted to finish it with you. You open the package and realize that you only put one brush in the bag since you were in such a hurry. Why don't you go first? Vin doesn't respond. Instead, he takes your hand and pulls you into his arms, just like how he held you when he was teaching you how to play piano last night.
これが僕たちの家につけられるなら二人で一緒に書くべきだよね。
You and Vin color in the letters on the door plate one by one as if you are performing some mystical ceremony. Alright, I can hang it up after it dries.
そうだね。
The door plate is all finished, but Vin's gaze still lingers on it. What's wrong? Did we not color it well enough? Vin shakes his head, seemingly having snapped out of his thoughts. He gently embraces you and rests his chin on your shoulder.
いや。ただなんとなく僕は家のことがよくわかってないなってそう思ったんだ。
You want to look up at Vin, but he holds you so close that you can't move. Vin,
スウォルトの城もステラ氏の別荘も僕にとっては仮初めの居場所で愛を育むには足りない場所だったんだね。
Vin's deep voice is tinged with a faint sadness, which gradually dissipates into the sound of wind outside the window. Is that why the renovations were so important to you, and why you handled everything yourself? He loosens his embrace and shakes his head slightly.
それに関してはほぼ無意識だね。これから始まる二人の生活が純粋に楽しみだったんだと思うよ。ただ同時に どこかで家に対する実感が持てなくて、変に心配したり、形にこだわってたりしてたんだろうね。
What about now?
今は、
Vyn gently caresses the doorplate in his hands and goes silent. You can't stop yourself from holding his face in your hands, directing him to look into your eyes. It's alright. It's okay if you don't feel like it's real yet. We already have a home. I'll help you feel how real it is over time. But you can't give up. Vin looks at you, his golden eyes full of happiness. He looks like a child who just had his wish granted.
もう二人の生活は始まってるからね。僕も最後まで責任を持つよ。
It is only after Vin promises you this that you finally remember the noodles. We forgot about the noodles. Living room. You quickly open the lid. Thankfully, the noodles didn't get too mushy after such a long soak. Here, try them out. Vin nods, gently stirring the noodles with elegance. He then twirls a few noodles around his fork before bringing it up to his mouth to taste. Wait.
Hmm?
Other than eating together on moving day, did the book have any other specific instructions for the meal?
なかったよ。そもそも食事に関しては、そこまで深掘りされてなかったからね。でも、だからこそ自由に食べられる。
Vin twirls some noodles into a spoon filled with soup and holds it in front of you.
親しい間柄で食べさせ合うことで、末永く幸せになれるそうだから、僕たちもやってみようか。
As Vin watches on, you lean in and take a bite. Although it tastes different from the instant noodles you're used to, you can't deny its deliciousness.
本日は引っ越し日和。
As you are savoring the noodles, Vin softly utters these four words as he looks at you. What's that?
本日は引っ越し日和。新たな家に幸あれ。民族史に載っていた言葉で、口に出すと現実になるそうだよ。
Let me try it too. You follow Vin's example, twirling some noodles for him and bringing them to his lips. May we enjoy eternal happiness. The prayers of countless individuals are recorded in that book, and today it is finally your turn. You hope it will protect you both and ensure peace every day in future. Vin holds your wrist and feeds himself the noodles with your hand.
新しい我が家に幸あれ。
He softly repeats your words as if they are a profound oath, causing your heart to flutter inexplicably. Following what was documented in the book, you and Vin finish the noodles together before you leave the table hand in hand. The typhoon outside rages on, but in contrast to the chaos outside, your new home acts as a safe haven, welcoming the both of you. Vin takes your hand and leads you over to the piano. Don't you want to relax for a bit before we play the piano? It feels like neither of you has stopped to catch your breath since the typhoon woke you up early this morning.
休むのは引っ越しをすべて済ませてからかな。
Vin seems to be worried that something might go wrong halfway through. Alright, Dad. Alright, that way we can enjoy a worry-free break after everything is finished. Once you have both reached an agreement, Vin turns around and sits down in front of the piano. Lamplight shines on his refined profile and slender neck, complementing his elegant aura. His fingertips descend on the keys, and a smooth melody flows out. Each and every facet of your life together is moved into your new home through the music. Greetings, I am Vyn Richter. Nice to meet you. You have had me since I first met you. Let us do it, my girlfriend. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. The new space gradually fills up with memories. You and Vin have been through so much together without even realizing it. Just as you are wondering which stage Vin will close the song with, the song abruptly halts with a crescendo. It's over. You are immersed in the reverberating sound as you look at Vin's back in a trance.
うん。これまでの楽章は一段落ついたからね。
Vin stands up and gingerly leans against the piano. His chest rises and falls faintly, and a drop of sweat falls from the end of a lock of his hair.
新たな楽章はたった今始まったばかりだから。
Vin reaches out to you, and you notice his palm is somewhat hot.
これからも僕と一緒に奏でていってくれるかい？
He already knows exactly what your answer will be, but he still wants to hear the words come from your mouth. Perhaps this was Vin's ultimate goal when planning today's move. Yes, I do. These simple words don't carry enough weight. You grab Vin's shirt and press your lips against his. After his initial surprise fades, Vin turns the tables on you, grabbing your waist and deepening the kiss. The temperature surrounding you increases, but the person in front of you seems to burn the hottest. You're burning up. Are you feeling okay? He shakes his head impatiently, reaching up to unbutton his shirt. A small patch of exposed skin shines with a cold, pale sheen under the light. It is seemingly luring you in.
この部屋少し暑すぎないかい？
Huh? Only now do you realize the room may be getting hotter due to the typhoon. I'll turn the air conditioner on.
待って。
Vin instinctively grabs your wrist to stop you from leaving.
一人にしないでほしい。
A nearly undetectable trace of panic sparks in his eyes, and you suddenly consider the fact that Swart probably doesn't have weather like this. Vin may be acting strange because this is the first time he's been in a situation like this, and he isn't used to it. Then let me help you loosen your shirt. It should help you cool down. Vin leans back on the piano a little, supporting his torso with his elbows and wrists. He looks up at you. His golden irises are burning with intensity, as if begging you to hurry. You reach out to help him undo a button, and your fingertips unintentionally brush over his skin. He subconsciously jerks backward at the sudden stimulation, his hand accidentally pressed down on the piano keys and producing a sweet sound. You okay? Vin's heavy breathing acts as his response. His shirt is splayed open, while his soft hair is messily tossed over his forehead due to how he was moving around just now. Although his position is somewhat restricted, Vin isn't under your control whatsoever. In fact, you are the one who is called upon to help him cool down. Only the rise and fall of his chest reveals how he is truly feeling at this moment.
あなたの手とても冷たいね。
You gently caress Vin's cheek, feeling his unusually high body temperature against your palm. The piano keys emit soft sounds with your and Vin's movements like gentle whispers in a lover's ear. Your body temperature was always pretty low before.
そうだね。 どうしてこうなったのかは僕にもよくわからないけど、あなたといるようになってからなのは間違いないかな。
He speaks in a low voice, but it's more like a secret confession. Your fingers travel down his chin, over his collarbone, and stop on his rising and falling chest. Vin's heartbeat begins to speed up. However, you can't sense any heat on your fingertips. The only explanation is that your own body temperature also rose during your previous contact. Do you not feel a chill anymore? Vin stares at you, his golden eyes reflecting your silhouette. An uncomfortable heat swells deep within his gaze.
そうだね。あなたの体温も上がってしまったから、もう僕を冷ますことはできないかな。
Then, what should I do? You lower your eyes, looking at Vin. The veins on his hand are apparent as he grips the piano, and his chest swells with his rapid breathing. Pouring rain finally arrives at a delay with the raging typhoon, but it serves to make his words all the more clear.
それじゃあ、新たな楽曲の始まりを一緒に楽しもうか。
Amidst the clamorous rain, Vin pulls you onto the piano bench, moving his hands to your hips. He places a soft and delicate kiss on your hair, so close to one another you can clearly feel even the slightest tremble in each other's movements. In this moment, you are like two wandering souls forgotten on a deserted island, presently soliciting one another to commemorate the beginning of your new life.
ほら、僕たちの運命もしっかりと鎖で結ばれている。これからは昼も夜も一緒で、何かの壁が隔たることもない。覚えてる？指輪ケースの花と同じ柄だよ。これはスウォルトにとって愛と忠誠と永遠を象徴するシンボルなんだ。あなたとこの場所のためにも、僕は一生をかけて家庭に対する自分の答えを探していくよ。初めてレースを編んでみたけど、思っていたほど難しくないね。これから一緒に暮らしていく中で、こういう試みをもっと増やして、一緒に未来を紡いでいこう。僕たちの未来は、この飾りと同じく、どんな時でも洗練されて、清く、揺るがないものとなる。これは誓いの類ではなく、あなたがくれた かけがえのない証だ。